What's up, guys? In this tutorial, we're going to be creating this nav menu, this side nav menu. So this is what we're going to be creating. You don't need to focus on the main area. The focus should be on the nav menu. I know the main area is kind of shitty, but don't worry. Just focus on the nav menu. This is what we're going to be creating. See, when I over each icon, there's this background coming up. So this is what we're going to be creating. And when I click the icon, it opens the side menu, as you see, and it animates. There's this transition happening there, and it rotates to the right, and the logo appears, and the text also appears. And when we click, the logo fits in and the text also fits in. So the opacity changes to 0 and they are not appearing anymore. So let me just click and you see. So it fits in both the logo and the text. So this is what we're going to be creating in this tutorial, kind of simple. Yeah, so the responsiveness for this menu, this menu is responsive. Just let me show you that to you. Let me show that to you quickly. I'm going to use image review. So if I click, you see this menu is responsive both on the mobile and the desktop version. You see the menu is responsive. So we're going to be creating this using HTML, CSS, and a little bit of JavaScript is going into that as well. So from this function and this styling, we're going to change that and change a bit of code, and it changes to this. So after we've created this, we're going to manipulate the code and make it look like this. Whenever we click, there's this background color changing in the main area. You see the background color changes when we click, and we can also change, we are going to also change the code so that when we click, it overlays the body. It doesn't push the body to the right. You see, the side menu just overlays the body, not like this, in which when you click, it pushes the body to the side. But we're going to change the code and make it look like this. So you want to stay to the end of the tutorial so you can know how to change the code and how to do something like this, and also make it overlays the body, not pushing the body to the right. So you're going to stay to the end of this tutorial so you can learn that. And if you see, let me just go back to the mobile version. Oh, sorry for that. Let me go back to the mobile version. You can see we changed the scroll bar. You see the scroll bar is kind of tiny. If you can see that, I don't know, maybe you can see that, but the scroll bar is tiny, not like this one. So we're going to change the scroll bar and make it tiny like this. We're going to make it small like that. So that is what we're going to be creating in this tutorial. So the inspiration is from this Dribble account. Trendmill is the one who designed this nav menu. So I just copied the design and I make it look like this. So the icons, I got the icon from icon 8. You can just go to icon 8 and get your icons for this tutorial. But don't worry, I'm going to link below the starter file. You can get the starter file. You see the icon looks the same, almost the same. Rather, if you look at the design and the one I did, you can see the icon looks almost the same. So I'm going to link the starter file below. You can just get that. I'm going to close this. And so you can stay to the end of the tutorial. If you're new to my channel, my name is Ola B Destiny, and I provide content like this to help and improve front-end developers. So you can improve your skills, your front end skills through my content right here. I'm going to be uploading some content. So you want to subscribe and give this video a thumbs up if the design really feels good to you. And let's just get into the code and get started. Thank you. And so I'm just going to minimize this and going to, okay, let me just minimize this very well so you can see all the code. Okay, so that's okay. So now I open, this is my Visual Studio Code, the code editor I'm going to be using. So now I have my image, the file image here, and in a folder, the folder image in another folder called side menu. So the folder image is named images, and I'm going to create 2 or 3 files as well. I'm going to create the index.html. So that being created, I'm going to create the CSS folder. Just going to name that CSS. And I'm going to, in the CSS, I'm going to create the style.css file. So after that, I'm going to create the JavaScript folder, JS folder. So in the JS folder, I'm going to create the main.js file. So that is it. That is all we're going to be creating. And these are the images. You can't see them right now because they are kind of gray in color. Okay, these are the images. Now they are showing. So these are the images we are going to be using for the nav bar. So let's just get started. Let's get started with the tutorial. So I'm going to start with the index.html first before getting into the CSS and the JavaScript. Alright guys, I'm going to use Emmet in Visual Studio Code to create a boilerplate. If you don't know what Emmet is a pre-installed extension in Visual Studio Code in which you can use to write your code faster, like writing abbreviation. So Emmet just automatically finish the abbreviation for you. So I'm going to create a boilerplate using the shift, the exclamation mark, and enter. So Emmet gives us a boilerplate like this. So I'm going to change the title to side menu. I'm going to save that. And I'm going to, after that, I'm going to link to our CSS, our style sheet. So first of all, I'm going to use the, sorry for that, I'm going to use the link tag. And in the href, I'm going to go to the path. First, I want to go to CSS. I'm going to go to the folder CSS, and in the folder, I want to target this the styles.css. I'm going to save that, and I want to link to our main.js as well. So I'll go underneath the body. In the body, I want to use the script tag. In this source, I want to link to JS folder, JS/main.js. So I'm just going to save that. So after that, we go to the body and start to create our HTML. First of all, we're going to create the header, which is the name, this name, page name. So I'm going to use the div, and I'm going to create the class page wrapper. In that, I'm going to use the header tag, and I'm going to use the h1 tag. In it, I'm going to write page name. I'm going to save that, and I'm going to open this using the live server extension in Visual Studio Code. You just have to right click and use the open live server. So our page is going to open up in our browser, as you can see. You can install the extension by going to the extension area and using the search box to search for live server. So this live server right here, so you can just install that. That is pretty handy for you to open your code in your browser directly. So I'm just going to close this sidebar, this images folder, and the folder for the style.js. So now I will go underneath the page wrapper div. I'm going to create a nav using the nav tag with the style, with the class of side menu. So in that, we're going to use the UL tag. And in that, I'm going to use the li tag as well. The li tag, I'm going to give the class of logo. So this I'm doing right here using these shorts, this abbreviation, using the I symbol to create a class is with the help of Emmet in Visual Studio Code. So you don't need to install Emmet if you're using Visual Studio Code. It has been pre-installed. But if you're using other code editors, you can just install Emmet for it to do something like this. So after that, I'm just going to hit the enter key and it gives me a class of logo. So in that, I'm going to create a tag. So in the a tag, I'm going to use the hashtag. We're not linking that to anywhere. In the a tag, I'm going to write a I tag with a image tag. And the image, we have a class of logo top. Enter. The source will be images. The source part will be images slash. Then I'm going to get the image logo top. I'm going to save that. I want to write the attribute, the alt tag, so the alt attribute, so you can just write that yourself. For the sake of this tutorial, I'm going to skip that. So I'm going to copy this. No, I don't need to copy that. I'll just go underneath this and use the I tag. In the I tag, I'm going to use the a tag. This is not linking to anywhere. So now I'm going to use the image tag. The image, now we have the class of menu, toggle. So I'm going to save that. I'm going to enter. So the source, I want to go to the part of the images and I want to target the arrow image. So I'm going to save that. And you see we have the arrow image and the logo image right there. Kind of big, but we're going to style it with the CSS. So I'll go underneath the li for the logo. And I'll use an li tag as well. So in the li tag, I want to use the class sash. So now I want to create this. I want to create the search menu, the input box. So now I'm going to use first I'm going to create the image. For that, I'm going to use a link tag. And I'm going to name the class item, and with the class of list. I'm going to save that. In the a tag, we want to create the image. We use the I and we use the image tag. The source for the image, the path will be images / we want to get a search. So underneath that, I want to create the form itself. So I'm going to use the spam tag. In the spam tag, I will use the form tag. And I'm going to remove this action. We don't need that. We are not submitting the form. So in the form tag, I want to use the input tag. The type will be test, and the name with the ID that I'm going to remove. And I will include a placeholder. The placeholder is the search. Is this search in it? This search test is for the placeholder. Let me just save that really quickly. As you can see, we don't have any test in the form. So I'm going to include a test using the placeholder, which will be search. I want this to be capital letter. And I'm going to save that. As you can see, we have the search test in it. So underneath this, the search list, the list item, I'm going to create another list item. Let me just take this to the top. I'm going to give it a class of, okay, I'm not giving it a class. In it, I'll create a tag in which I'll give it a class of list. I'm going to give it a class of item and a class of list. The href will be hash. So in the a tag, I want to create an image and the text. Create an image and a text. So I'll just use the image. The source, the path for the source will be images / dashboard. And I'm going to save that. I'm going to use the span tag. And I'm going to name the that will be dashboard in capital letter. I'm going to remove this space right here. So now I'm going to we'll copy this li and we're going to paste it below. I want that to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, that will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And we have the 9. So I'm going to be changing these, looking at the finished nav menu. So first I'm going to change these to product. I'm going to change the image source to product. That PNG, these I'm going to change to campaign. Yep, campaign. And the dashboard as well will be campaign. That's PNG. So we have the first, the second, the third, which is the campaign, which is this. And underneath I want this line, this border. So I'll go underneath the campaign and I'll include an HR tag, which gives us a line. As you can see, we have a line here. So these, the dashboard for these, I'm going to change to sales. I'm going to change the image to sales as well. Sales.png. These I'm going to change to discount. And I'm going to change the image to discount as well. These I'm going to change to payout. The image as well will be payout. Okay, underneath the payout, we want to have the HR tag as well to give a line underneath that. So this I'm going to change to chart. I'm going to change this to the chart image. This I'm going to change to settings. And I'm going to change the image to settings as well. Settings.png. And underneath this, we have the HR tag as well to give it the line beneath it. So I'm going to change the last text to new product. Just new product. And the image, I'm going to change the part to new product as well. I'll save that. Let's check. So we have everything right here. Kind of big, but we're going to start out with our CSS. So underneath these, I want to create another page, another text in the page. So I'll go underneath this. For first, I want to copy this class right here. Copy that class page wrapper. I'll go underneath the nav and I will remove the header tag. And I'm going to create a section. In the section, I'm going to have a p tag, and in the p tag, I'll use lorem epsilon, which I'm going to use 5. Sorry for that. Lorem epsilon, I'm going to use 5. So it gives us a 5 text, 5 words. So these are 5 words. You can use lorem epsilon in Visual Studio Code. That is also with the help of Emmet. So Emmet comes really pretty handy when it comes to creating your website faster. So I'm going to use the p tag and lorem epsilon. And I'm going to make these like 40. Save that. I'm going to wrap the code up. So here I want to use the p tag with lorem epsilon. I'm going to use lorem. Just going to use like 80, or let's see, that's too much. Let's say 60. And I'm going to save. Let's see. We have the text underneath this. This is the text underneath. And we have the name page at the top. Everything according to the order of the code. So now I want to start with the styling. So first in the CSS, I'm going to use the global sign. So we're going to use this, and I'm going to use the comma. Now I'm going to use the before. Pseudo class before. And also I'm going to use the after pseudo class. And then we're going to use the border box. Property, border box. Box size and rather. So I'm going to use the value will be border box. I'll just save that just to wrap things up. So now let's start the body. For the body, I'm going to use the font family. The font family of okay, let me just type that out. Kind of hard to find that. I'm going to use Ubuntu and OpenSense. And I'm going to use sans serif. So after that, I'm going to change the color to 3232332. Underneath that, we're going to use overflow. We're going to hide it when it overflows. I want to give it a height of 100%. Margin, I want that to be 0. And border color, the background color, I want that to be white. So after that, I'm going to target the HR, which is the border right there. So that I want to style first. Border, we're going to use none. So we take away the first border. Now we're going to replace it with our own style of border. So I'm going to say border top. We'll make that 1 pixels solid. And the color will be 5, 1, 5, 1, 5, 1, 5, 1, and 5, 2. I'm going to save that. So now we'll change the design. So for the UL, we're going to start styling the UL. So for the UL, I want to remove the bullet points, these dots right here. So let's remove that away. Let's take that away first. So I say list style none. And then I want to remove the margin 0 and the padding as well. I want the padding to be 0. And I'll start the A tag. We're going to start the A tag. Let's start the A tag. I'm going to use the A tag, and I want to remove every line beneath the A tags. So these, I want to remove this line. So we're going to remove that first. I'm going to use the text. Decoration, I want that to be none. And I want to change the color to this 3232. So that will remove the text decoration underneath. So now start the body, the main area of the page. We have the class. Okay, let me just, so you guys can see this. Okay, I'm just going to close this. Going to open this. So we have the class of page wrapper, the class of page wrapper. So I'm going to target that. So first I want to position that relative. Translate, transition. I want the transition to be the 3 seconds. And I want the margin for the main area. The margin, I want that to be 10 pixels top and bottom, and 120 pixels left and right. So you shift this to the right. I want to remove this height from the body. Wait, no. Okay, overflow hidden. We have an overflow hidden right here. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Okay, this is it. Let's take that away from the body. So we have the scroll bar now. So now you can see we have the text right here beneath it shifted to the right, and these as well shifted to the right. So now we want to start styling the side menu. So I'm going to use the class side menu. First, I want to position that relative, and side menu logo. Start the logo first, logo top. We have the class with it. We have the class of logo top right there. So we want to wait. Okay, first let's finish the nav menu. I'm going to say position first, not relative. Position first, and I want to change the color of the text, the color to the white color, FFF, and the background color. The background, I want to change to 121619, and I want the padding to be 30 pixels top and bottom and 0 left and right. Overflow, I want that to be hidden. Overflow Y. The overflow Y, I want that to be scroll. So we can scroll from the y-axis, like this, so we can scroll in the menu like this. Okay, this is kind of, let me just bring that up. You can see, so we can scroll from the menu like this. Take that down a bit so you can still see the scroll bar. So we can scroll like top to the bottom. So that is why we use the scroll Y, the overflow Y scroll. We don't want to hide that. So now we're going to use the position. Okay, we've used position first, top. I want that to be 0 for the position. And I want the left for the position to be 0. I want the eyes to be 100%. We want the weight to be 72 pixels. And we want to transition it, we want that to be 0.3 seconds. And you say, want to use white space on wrap, no wrap. So this makes it which whenever we close, we don't want the text to wrap under the image. We want it to stay on a line, on a single line. Whatever the width of this menu is, we want it to stay on the single line. That is why we're using white space, no wrap. So I'm going to show you what that does in a second. Just, if I still remember in this tutorial, just know that we don't want it to wrap. We don't want the text to wrap underneath the image, whatever the weight. We want them to stay on a single line like this. We want them to stay on a single line. So after that, we're going to use the Z index. I want that to be 5. The Z index brings the items close to the top to you, bring it closer to the top of the page. So whatever Z index you use, if you use 500, that means it brings it to the top, 500 from the page itself. So I'm just going to save that. And this is what we have for now. So first I'll start with the logo. I want the opacity of the logo to be 0, so we won't see the logo. But before that, I want to start the weight as well. The weight of the logo, I want that to be 40 pixels. And transition, I want that to be 1 second. I want that to be 1 second. I want the delay for the transition to be 1 second as well. Delay 1 second and ease in. I want it to ease in. So save. Now you can see the logo because the opacity is 0. If I bring the opacity to 5, you can see it. But now I'm going to take it to, okay, let me just say I bring the opacity to 0.5, which is, so now you can see, but not as clear as 1 opacity. So I'll just change that to 0. We don't want to see the logo for now. So next we're going to style the logo, but I want the logo dot side menu dot logo. I want to target the class, this logo class, which wraps the logo and the toggle icon. I want to target that, and I want that to be position relative. So now underneath this, I want to style the toggle. This class, the toggle image, the toggle image, I want to style that. I'll just say side menu, menu toggle. First, I want to position that absolute left. I want to position it left from 25% from the left. And from the top, we want it to be positioned 20% from the top. Transition. We want the transition to be 0.2 seconds. Easing. And wait for the image. We want that to be 30 pixels and save. So you see now it is positioned right here. And the weight has been changed to the size of this, to the size of the final page, you can see. So now we want to style the UL and the LI. I just go underneath these and I just side menu, and we're going to start the LI, UL, LI. First, I want to remove the margin. I want the margin to be 0 top and bottom and 12 pixels left and right. Transition, I want the transition to be ease. I want it to be 3 seconds. Seconds ease. And I want the box sizing to be border box. Border radius, I want that to be 5 pixels. I'm going to save that. You can see the changes yet. So I'm going to start the class item list, this class item list. So I'm going to style that now. So I want to target a side menu class dot item dot list. And for the item list, I want the margin top. Margin top, I want that to be 12 pixels. Display, I want it to display block. Padding, the top, I want that to be 10 pixels. Top and bottom 10 pixels, left and right 10 pixels. Border, radius, I want that to be 5 pixels. And I'll save. Now, So I want to style the over effect for the toggle. So whenever we hover, I want this background color to appear. Like the final one right here, you see? I want that background color to appear. So I'll just say I'll copy this. Now I'll paste it underneath. I'll change this to oval. And for this, I'm going to remove that. The background color, I want to change the background to this color, this. And the padding, I want to change to 5 pixels. The border, I want to change that border radius. I want that to be round. So I want to change it to, the value will be 50%. So you see, whenever we over it, there's this border effect. There's this background effect right there. So now after that, I want to get to the, we want to give it a background color when we over the list, the item list. So I'm going to copy this and I'll paste the code right here. I'll include the over pseudo class, and then I'm going to just remove this and, oh, sorry for that. I'm going to remove this. Now we're going to change the background color. When we over it, we want it to have a background color with 242424. So that is the background color value. So we want to change the color as well to white, to these F1, F1, F1. So for that, that is the color. For want the transition to be 0.3 seconds. So when we over see there's this background fair idea, though you can see that well, but when we change the images, the weight of the images, you're going to see that, which we do in a second. So after that, I want to style the span tag. The span tag, which is the test in the list item, the test, this span tag, that is what I want to style next. So I'll just go underneath this side menu, the list, the item list, span, just say line height. I want to remove the line height. I'll make that 0. Now copy these. I'll say li span. I want that to be the color. I want that to be this value, this color, F1, F1. I'm going to save that. You can see that now because that has been shifted. So for us to see that, I want to comment the width for this. For now, we'll make the width 300 or 250. So we can see that. Now we can see it properly, so we can see what we're doing. So I just go underneath this and I'm going to style the items. So say side menu, items, item, dot item. I want that to be, Okay, I don't need that. Don't need that. Start the item here already. So I'll just say transition. Want this to be 3 seconds. So I want to start the image. Just say item list, img, and for the image I want the weight. I want that to be 24 pixels, and I'll save. And now it's looking better. So I'll go underneath the image. I'll start the start menu, UL, li, and the I tag. On that, I want the padding. I want to give it a padding 0, 16 from the right, 0 from the bottom, and 0 from the left. I want the font size. The font size, I want that to be 25 pixels. The color of the li, I want that to be the fi. I'm going to save that. And you see it shifts these to the side. The padding 16 from the right. So we're seeing a bit of space between the image and the text right there. So underneath that, we're going to style the span. And just say, okay. Okay, I'll just go underneath this, and I'll change the font size. I want that to be 16 pixels. Okay, 16 pixels. Okay, span 16 pixels, and overflow. I want it to be eating. Overflow X. On the X axis, I want that to be eating. And I want the transition. Sorry for that, guys. I want the transition. I want that to be 3 seconds. Ease in. 3 seconds, ease in. So I want the color to be this. And I want the opacity. I want that to be 0. So we can't see them right now, but whenever we click, we are going to see them. So let's just comment this out first for the opacity. So underneath that, just going to, that is all. I'm going to remove this. I'm going to save that. And I'll go underneath this. Now I want to start the input. The input is the next thing we're going to start. So I'm just saying side menu, UL, form, input. So we say the height, want to set the height to 48 pixels. Want to set the weight to 100%. And want to set a outline. Want to remove the outline. Want that to be 0. And let's say first that to be 0. And next one, the padding from the left. pattern left. I want the pattern from the left to be 40 pixels. So you shift the search to the left so the image can stay right here like this. The search is right here and the image is right here. So that's what we're trying to do with the 45 pixels. So I'm going to box sizing. I'm going to give it this box sizing. We're going to say the box sizing, we're going to set that to border box. And the background color, background, we want that to be the 1619. And we want the border, want to give it a border of 1 pixels, solid, and the color for that, I want that to be 5152. I'm gonna save that, and you see dark in color. So now I want to position this right here. But before that, I want to start the search test in the input. Let's start the search test by using the placeholder property, and then I'm going to change the font size. That I'm going to change to 16 pixels. And then we're going to start a search. First, I'm going to say we're going to use the side menu class and li.search, and we're going to use the item list, and we'll position relative the item list. We are targeting that this item list, the class item list, search item list, and then we'll position that relative. And after positioning that relative, we want to remove the padding. Padding 0, want to remove the margin. Margin, want that to be 0 as well. I'll save that. I'm going to copy this. I want to use the pseudo class over. And I want to change, I want the background color to be transparent. You see there's this background color. It's getting that color from this list item that we styled. So I want the background color for that. I want the background color to be transparent. So we say background, and we use the transparent value. So I'm going to save that. See, there's no background appearing. So we want to position absolute for the image, the search image. We want to put that right here. We want to position that right there. So I'll just say that's side menu, that's search, I'm going to search, and I want to target the image. So I say position absolute, God, I can't type. Position absolute top, I want the top to be 45 pixels, and from the left, I want that to be 10 pixels from the left. I'll just save that and see the image is positioned in the search. So everything is looking good, right? Everything is looking good right now. So what I want to do now is go to the JavaScript and we're going to start that up. But before that, I want to set some CSS down right here, and I want to change let's change the scroll bar. Let's change it to this scroll bar right here, to this color and tiny scroll bar. Want it to be smaller than that. So I'll just say side menu, use the pseudo class scroll bar, target the wait, that side menu, web kits, so I'll target the scroll bar. So now I want the weight for that to be 5 pixels. And I'm going to copy these. Now I'm going to copy these. So this change the width of the sidebar to 5 pixels. So now we can't see it. Now it is 5 pixels, but we can't see it anymore because we haven't changed the color. So now I'm going to change first I'm going to change the track in which the track in which the bar is going to stay. So we're going to start the track first. So for the track, I'm going to use track, and then I'm going to use the border, the box shadow, box sizing. I'm going to use the box sizing property. I'm going to use insert. We're going to use insert for the track 0, 0, and 5 pixels. The weight, I want it to be 5 pixels, and I want the color for the track. I want that to be these 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, 6, 1, 9. So that is the color. So I want the border radius. I want to give it a border radius of 10 pixels. So it is rounded from the top and the bottom. We're not seeing that right now. Oh, sorry, this will be 0, 0. I'm going to give that a space and I'm going to save. So now that is there, but we can see that I'm going to copy this because we have to use the thumb as well. So now I'm going to use the thumb. I've changed this to thumb. And now I want to change the background color. I want to give it a background color so we can see that track that we made. The track that we styled the other time, you can see it unless we give it a background color. So I'm going to give it a background color of 5, 5, 1, 5, 1, 5, 2. And I'm going to give the border radius. Border radius, I want the border radius to be 10 pixels. I'm going to save. Now you can see the track right there. So now I want to start a thumb over. When we over the thumb, over, thumb over. I want to change the background color. For that, I want to change the background color to this 5, 1, 5, 1, 5, 2. 5, 1, 5, 1, 5, 2. I'm going to save that. So you can see that is working perfectly now. So let's go back to these. The track, we're not seeing the track. I did not notice that in the finished website, so I'm just going to go underneath this. I'm going to remove that. I'm going to save. Since we can see the track as well, so I'm just going to return that and save. Maybe the track is too small as well. So I'm going to go underneath these. I'll just comment these out and I'll say, I want to comment that out and use a blue comment and say this is to okay, this is what happens when the toggle is clicked. Just save that. I want this to be wrapped. So underneath this, we're going to write the classes in which we want to happen whenever we click the toggle menu, the toggle icon, the image. So I'm going to, first I want to use the menu. The menu active. I'm going to use the class menu active and dot page wrap. So we create a class menu active and we target a class dot page wrap, which is this class right here. So this is what will happen whenever we click on the toggle for the page wrap. We want it to translate, transform. We want it to translate to the y-axis. So transform, translate to y, and we want that to be 200 pixels. I'll just save that. So it's not working yet because the JavaScript has not been assigned yet. So for the test, whenever the toggle is clicked, I want this test, I want the opacity to be 1%. I want the opacity to be 1%. I'm going to create that with the span. I'm going to say span active. I'm going to create a class for that, span active, and I'm going to target the test class, which is test. So I want to use the same class for the test and the logo. Also, I want the opacity to be 0 whenever the menu is closed. So I'm going to use a comma right here, and I'm going to create a class for the logo, which is span active, and I'm going to target the logo class logo top. I'm going to save that, and underneath this, in that, I want the opacity to be 1, and I want transition for that to be 2 seconds, 1 second, 2 seconds, 1 second, ease in. Okay, I want to use the ease out right here. Ease out. Now I'm going to change this to X, to S, not X. I'm going to save that. I will go top and we'll go to the. So first I want to target the side menu. So whenever this is clicked, I want the side menu to close. So for that, we're going to create a class for the side menu as well. We're going to say menu active, menu active, and for that, I want to target the side menu class, and for the side menu, I want for the side menu, I want the width. Whenever it's clicked, I want the width to be 250 pixels. I want the width to be 250 pixels for that. So I'll just save that, and after that, I want to create a class called toggle active. For the toggle active, I'm going to target the side menu and the menu toggle. So for that, I want the height. Want that to be 5%. And we want that to transition translate x 150 pixels and rotate 180 degree. So I'll save that. What I'm trying to do, whenever we click on the toggle, we create a toggle active for that. When the toggle class is clicked, the menu toggle, we want it to stay at the right 5%, and we want it to rotate 155 pixels. Translate, go to the right 155, go to the left 255 pixels, and we want it to rotate 180 degree. And I'm going to use the transform origin. I want the transform origin to be 0% and 40%. What this does is that it shows the way the icon will transform. After using the JavaScript, I'm going to explain this. So I'm going to use the transition. And I want that to be 3 seconds. Is in. Save that. And that is all. But for the body, I want to give the body. But for now, let's just go into the JavaScript. I think that is all for the CSS. Let's go into the JavaScript. And for the JavaScript first, we want to create a variable. We use the var. And the variable name will be sliding menu. And we'll create a function for that. In the function, we're going to create a variable using the var menu toggle equals. So now the variable, this is the name for the variable. Now I want to assign the variable. Instead of assigning it to a value directly, you want to assign it to a class, in which we are going to use the document to get a class document, and we're going to use the query selector. I want to use this query selector. I want to select the class. So we're going to say dot menu toggle, and for that, we are targeting this class, the menu icon, which is menu toggle. So that's the first variable. The second variable, we're going to create another variable, and that we're going to name body. And we're going to assign it to the document, to the body itself, to the body of the page. That is the second variable. So now we're going to create a function in which we're going to assign all these. In the function, we are going to make all these classes. We want them to work, to do everything that we've written, we have coded right in the CSS. So I'll just go down below and I'll say menu. I'll create menu toggle. I'm using this class, the class menu toggle, not manu, it's menu. Sorry for that. Menu toggle. When I call that class, I want to add an event. So I say event listener, click. So we give it a clicked event. And now we're going to create a function in that. So in the function, I'm going to use the EV. I'm going to use this value for that. So in the function, we want to target every classes right here. So the first class I'm going to target, first I want to prevent the default. I want to prevent the default styling so that this styling can work. So for us to prevent the default styling, we use we call the EV function. I will say prevent default. So after preventing default, we want to prevent default by calling the function, and sorry for that. We want to now give it a class. So the first class I'm going to target is using the body variable, body dot class list. So targeting the tag class, I'm going to use the toggle. Now the first class we want to target is the menu active. Menu active, I'm going to save that. Menu active. First, I want to go to the top, and this weight, I want it to be I want it to be 72 pixels. I'm going to save that. Now it is more smaller than before. So now when it's click, I want it to open. Translate to Y, 200 pixels. Save this, and this should be working. What's happening? So I'm going to close this. Now, before this can work, I'm going to save that, and before it can work, we have to call the function. We have to call this function. So we go outside of the function and we'll call the function slide menu. I'm going to close this and I'll save. And you see, that is working. But now this isn't going back to the right position in which I want that to be. And I will just go to the top, go to the logo, weight. I want the weight of the icon to be 30%. Let me save that. 30%. And I want the toggle to be positioned. Oh, sorry, this one will be 40%. Let's change that to 40. The toggle, I want that to be, seems kind of okay right here. Let's say left. Let's change the left to 22 and save. Okay. Now that isn't going to the front. I want that to go to the front, to rotate, to translate. 45 and rotate. I want that to rotate 108 degrees. Okay, we have to call the toggle class before that can move to the front. So let's save that for now and go back to the JavaScript. I'm going to copy this and we have to paste it 3 times, and I'm going to change this to span active, which is this class right here, the span active that we created. So this is what will happen to the classes here. This classes test, which is the test here, and the logo top, which is the one right here. We want the opacity to be 1. So whenever I click, the opacity will be 1. And for this right here, this menu active, I'm going to change this to toggle, to the toggle active. I'm going to save that, and that means the toggle right here will be translating, going forth and back. Let's click that, you see. So that is working perfectly now. So now let us change the background color. How do you now change the background color whenever this is clicked? We want the background color to change as well. This is the default styling for this. But now I want to, in the beginning of the tutorial, I showed you that we can change the background color whenever this is clicked. So we just have to do a simple trick for that. And underneath this, I'll just create another class, which is body. Want the body dot body active. Want the background color, the background to be RGB, and the word, I want that to be white, the green white, the blue white, and the alpha, I want that to be 0.2. The word, I want that to be, the rest, I want that to be 00, which is black. Sorry, saying white, black. So I'm going to save that, and nothing is happening now. So I'll just go to the JavaScript, and we are going to call that class as well. So for us to call the class, we're going to change this to body active and save. So whenever we click, it changes the color of the body. You see, whenever we click, the body color changes. So how do you do it in which it overlays and doesn't push the body to the right? So we're going to do that as well. We're going to comment something out right here, which is the body wrapper. Just going to comment that out so that isn't functioning. So when we click, it just overlays. It doesn't push the body to the right. So that is all for the tutorial. I hope you guys enjoyed the tutorial. If you do, kindly give it a thumbs up and subscribe to this channel for you to not miss videos and tutorials like this. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next tutorial. Bye.